please direct your gaze to your right, where the striking dome of the Chiesa di San Simeon Piccolo rises majestically before us. This remarkable church, completed in 1738, greets every traveller arriving in Venice, by train or by road, serving as a magnificent gateway to the city. Welcome to the Grand Canal tour. Buongiorno, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Venice. My name is Andy, and I am delighted to accompany you on this unforgettable journey along the Grand Canal, the beating heart of this extraordinary city. As we leave San Simeon Piccolo behind, we approach one of Venice's 4 bridges spanning the Grand Canal, the Ponte degli Scalzi, or the Bridge of the Barefoot Monks. This elegant stone crossing, completed in 1934, replaced a fragile iron bridge that had served the city since the mid-19th century. Its name honours the nearby church and convent of the Discalced Carmelites, whose barefoot brothers once walked these very streets. The architect Eugenio Miozzi designed this structure in a restrained neoclassical style, with a single graceful arch that allows even the tallest vessels to pass beneath. Notice how its Istrian stone blends harmoniously with the surrounding palaces, neither competing with nor surrendering to their grandeur. As we continue our gentle passage through Cannaregio, allow your eyes to rest upon the serene facade of the Chiesa di San Geremia e Lucia, a sanctuary that has guarded this bend of the canal since the 11th century, though the present structure largely dates from 1753. This church holds a treasure that draws pilgrims from across the globe. As we emerge from the quieter reaches of Cannaregio, prepare yourselves for a dramatic shift in temperament. Rising before us in triumphant Baroque splendor is Ca Pesaro, one of the most magnificent palaces ever to grace the Grand Canal. Commissioned in 1659 by the ambitious Pesaro family, this masterpiece was entrusted to the genius of Baldassare Longhena, the same architect who gave Venice the Basilica della Salute. Yet Longhena would not live to see its completion. The palace was finished nearly 3 decades after his death by Antonio Gaspari, his faithful pupil. Observe how the facade defies the horizontal restraint of earlier Venetian Gothic. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we approach the very soul of Venetian commerce, the Rialto Mercato, where the Grand Canal has conducted its daily business for over 1,000 years. Long before the palaces rose, long before the tourists arrived, this bend of the water was where Venice came to trade. Here, in 1097, the Republic established its central market, and here it has remained, stubbornly vital, through plague and conquest, through flood and time. Observe the distinctive silhouette of the Fabbriche Nuove, the arcaded buildings designed by Jacopo Sansovino in 1555 to shelter the fishmongers and greengrocers from sun and rain. Their rhythmic loggias create a theatrical backdrop to the bustling scene below, where boats still unload crates of artichokes, crates of crabs, crates of everything the lagoon can offer. As we glide beneath the shadow of the Rialto Bridge, direct your attention to the distinctive curved facade on your right, the Palazzo dei Camerlenghi. And now we arrive at the undisputed heart of Venice, the Ponte di Rialto, the oldest and most celebrated bridge spanning the Grand Canal. For centuries, this very spot was crossed by a fragile pontoon bridge, rebuilt and replaced until 1181, when a wooden structure finally rose on fixed piles. That bridge too collapsed, burned, and collapsed again, until the Republic determined that only stone would suffice. In 1588, a competition was held, and Antonio da Ponte, his name meaning "of the bridge," as if destiny itself had spoken, prevailed over even Michelangelo's proposed design. What you see before you is his masterpiece, a single audacious arch spanning 28 meters, flanked by 2 inclined ramps that meet at a central portico. The engineering was revolutionary. The engineering was risky. And the engineering has endured for more than 4 centuries. Observe the bustling life upon its steps. 2 rows of shops, their arched windows framing views of the canal, have sold jewellery, linens and souvenirs since the bridge's completion. The Rialto was commerce. The Rialto is commerce still. Pause now, if you will, and imagine the countless footsteps that have crossed these stones. Merchants and poets, lovers and spies, Casanova himself fleeing by night. The Ponte di Rialto is not merely a crossing, it is Venice's stage, its witness, its enduring soul. As we leave the animated theatre of the Rialto behind, the canal narrows and the pace of water traffic quickens. Here, pressed between its neighbours, yet unmistakably aristocratic, rises the Palazzo Grimani di San Luca, a Renaissance jewel completed in 1572 for the powerful Grimani family. This palace bears the unmistakable signature of Michele San Michele, the Veronese architect who revolutionized Venetian domestic architecture. Observe his masterful handling of the restricted site. The facade appears perfectly symmetrical, yet conceals an ingenious irregularity within, where the interior spaces adapt to the ancient plot of land. The stone cladding, warm and honey-coloured, rises in 3 distinct stories. The ground floor, with its severe rustication, suggests fortress-like security. The piano nobile above opens into a graceful loggia of Ionic columns, while the attic story, crowned by a delicate balustrade, proceeds in quiet dignity. This rhythmic progression, heavy, open, light, became the model for countless Venetian palaces that followed. The Grimani were among Venice's most ambitious dynasties, producing doges, cardinals, and collectors of extraordinary discernment. Their palace witnessed generations of political intrigue and cultural patronage, its salons filled with the conversation of Titian and Aretino, of diplomats and scholars. As we continue our eastward journey, the Grand Canal widens into a luminous expanse, and there, spanning its broadest reach, appears the Ponte dell'Accademia, the southernmost of Venice's 4 bridges, and surely its most beloved vantage point. The present wooden structure, erected in 1933, is the third to occupy this site. An iron bridge of 1854 proved too heavy and too narrow. A second wooden replacement of 1985 lasted barely half a century. What you see today is a faithful reconstruction of the 1933 design, its arched trusses of larch and pine creating a temporary, almost theatrical presence against the eternal stone of the palaces. Do not mistake this modesty for insignificance. The Ponte dell'Accademia offers what many consider the finest prospect in all Venice, a perfectly framed view westward along the Grand Canal, with Santa Maria della Salute rising at the vanishing point, and the domes and campaniles of a dozen churches punctuating the sky. Artists have sketched it, photographers have exhausted it, lovers have paused upon it at sunset, unable to speak. The bridge takes its name from the Gallery dell'Accademia, Venice's paramount museum of painting, housed in the former convent of Santa Maria della Carità nearby. Here, Bellini, Giorgione, Titian, and Tintoretto await those who cross. Cross now if you can, or simply drift beneath and carry this view with you. It is the Venice of dreams. And now prepare yourselves for revelation. As we round the final bend of the Grand Canal, the Basilica di Santa Maria della Salute rises before us in triumphant majesty, its enormous dome commanding the entrance to the lagoon like a beacon of salvation. This church was born of catastrophe. In 1630, the plague descended upon Venice, claiming nearly 50,000 lives, 1/3 of the city's population. In desperation, the Senate vowed to the Virgin Mary that a church would be raised in her honor if the city was spared. The plague relented. The promise was kept. Baldassare Longhena, then barely 32 years old, devoted the remaining 50 years of his life to this singular vision. What emerged is Venice's most audacious architectural statement, an octagonal church, crowned by a dome of unprecedented scale, its surface rippling with scrolls, volutes, and statues that seem to dance in the changing light. Observe the ingenious solution to an unstable site. Over 1 million wooden piles support the foundations, while the church itself appears to float upon the water, connected to the land by only a slender bridge. The facade presents 2 distinct faces, one greeting the Grand Canal, the other the open lagoon, each a masterpiece of Baroque theatricality. Within rests the miraculous icon of the Madonna della Salute, carried in solemn procession each November 21st across a bridge of boats, the votive promise renewed for 4 centuries. We approach our journey's end, but this dome will remain with you, I am certain, long after you have departed Venice. And there, rising above the shimmering waters in the distance, we glimpse our final destination, the Campanile di San Marco, the legendary bell tower of St. Mark's Basilica. Standing 98 meters tall, this slender brick sentinel has guided sailors home since the 12th century, its golden angel turning with the wind, its 5 bells once dictating the very rhythm of Venetian life. Though the tower we see today was rebuilt in 1912 after a sudden collapse, it faithfully reproduces its predecessor's noble simplicity. At its summit, the bronze weather vine in the form of the Archangel Gabriel has resumed his eternal vigil over the city. Our journey along the Grand Canal draws to its close. From Piazzale Roma to this threshold of Piazza San Marco, we have witnessed the palaces of merchant princes, the bridges of engineers and dreamers, the churches of saints and survivors. Venice has unfolded before you like a scroll of living history, written in water, stone, and light. Thank you for traveling with us today. If these sights have stirred your wanderlust, we invite you to like this video and subscribe to Go to Europe. Your support allows us to continue exploring the wonders of our continent, from the canals of Venice to the Montenegro and beyond. Until our next adventure, arrivederci, and may your own journeys be filled with discovery.